Hey, good morning out there. It's about 8:05. I'm meteorologist Chita Craft. If you're just waking up, tuning in, all right, click, and you've already clicked this so you can see this streaming on your phone or from maybe one of our social platforms. Let me show you the big picture of what we are tracking. We have an upper level disturbance that's moving out of South Texas. This is right on the border between Mexico and South Texas, moving into the Gulf. So notice how this is almost a direct west to east motion. We really didn't get much of that northerly component. We were anticipating just a little bit more than what we actually did see early this morning. So most of the rain south of us is moving east. Now I will keep about a 50% chance in for a few scattered showers to an isolated thunderstorm thanks to all the energy in the Gulf, and see we have these southerly winds. Second component to this forecast, this area of low pressure, this trailing cold front, this is all going to be moving in this southeasterly direction over the next 24 hours. So late tonight, about 8, 9, 10 p.m., and then overnight into our early morning hours tomorrow morning, we are going to be looking at the chance for a few scattered showers setting up even this evening, but some very heavy rain expect in the forecast for tomorrow morning. And some of those downpours, I think tomorrow, may actually come up to about 1 to upwards of 3 inches of rain. So the potential there for some ponding or for some isolated high water spots will probably be best overnight. Now let me zoom on in here, areas southwest of town. It was from Wharton County into Fort Bend County earlier this morning that we had one thunderstorm, even producing some lightning. Not so much anymore. It is from Matagorda into Brazoria County, but this is where we are picking at least some lightly to maybe moderate scattered showers there. When you start to pop in that yellow, even a little bit of orange and red just southeast there if they're Hawkinsville, that is some moderate to even briefly heavy downpours. Otherwise, we've had a mostly dry forecast early this morning. Now, I thought I would show you some of our live cameras. If you're in home this morning, you haven't been outside yet, let me show you what you can expect when you head outside. Live look outside in Galveston. We do have clouds in place, temperatures in the 80s. Notice about the same in Missouri City. Earlier this morning, I was looking outside of our cameras and we could briefly see some of the thunderstorms that were beginning out of Wharton County, moving into Fort Bend County from this camera in Missouri City, but not so much anymore. And then we've had a really dry forecast this morning in Herman Park. Over Herman Park, this is a live look from Hotel Zaza towards the Med Center. Clouds in place, but those roadways are mostly dry. We've maybe seen a few showers here and there, but that's really been about it. So what we're expecting for today, about a quarter to max about a half an inch of rain here for your Tuesday. That's because most of the rain south of us in South Texas is pushing off in the Gulf. Now, as we get into Wednesday afternoon, you see these rain accumulations of 1 to 2 inches of rain area wide. Then the isolated amounts that get higher between about 2 to 4, maybe even upwards of 6 inches of rain. That's the further east that you go. So this is mainly going to be overnight and into Wednesday. Let me show you on our future track, lightly scattered showers to an isolated thunderstorm. This is lunchtime today, but there's not going to be really anything too big and bad. An isolated strong storm is still possible to our north, but most of what we're counting on is overnight. This is 3 a.m. tomorrow morning. Notice the thunderstorms that are in place, areas north of I-10. We could be looking at those rain accumulations between 1 to 3 inches of rain. Now, we've been tag teaming all morning long. Let me bring in meteorologist Pat Cavlin. So we didn't see a whole lot earlier this morning, but I do think those rain accumulations overnight are still holding together with that cold front on the move.
Cheetah, we really dodged a bullet, right? I mean, my goodness, especially down to the south. I mean, this only missed us by 150 miles. I mean, if this had been farther north, like the models were showing us yesterday, then it would have been a disaster of a morning commute. Unfortunately, we could have a similar setup as we get into tomorrow. So a couple lightning strikes to the coast right now, down towards Matagorda, Brazoria counties. That's about it, though. Light showers now starting to work north into Matagorda County and Wharton, but overall, things are pretty quiet out there. So let's give you a bit of a different shot here and just show you what's going on. That's the storm system that I was talking about 150 miles south of downtown Houston. It's got a little bit of a spin to it as well. There's no watches or warnings out here because we're over open water, but a lot of lightning. That gives you a hint as to how intense this system is. On the wider shot, though, across the rest of the state, as Cheetah's been mentioning, we've got 2 areas that we're watching. So the first one's down here in the Gulf. The other one, notice that Boeing segment segment of thunderstorms up through North Texas. That's going to be the focus as we get into the overnight hours. So some big thunderstorms here through southern Oklahoma, North Texas. That's part of the main system, the main parent storm, right? So that's going to bring us a chance maybe for some severe weather as we get into the overnight. So let's show you exactly what we're dealing with here. It's a big storm system originating in Colorado. It's a large area of low pressure, and it's just starting to form right now. And it's going to have time to mature before it gets here. And so that's why we are talking about the potential for some severe weather, mainly to our north as we go through the overnight. But it's just because there is so much going on with this system. So here's the area of low pressure. You can actually kind of get a sense of where that spin is. Notice how the clouds are kind of curling on the back end of this through southern portions of Colorado. Ahead of it, you've got the warm front. So this is, again, a really dynamic system here. Along that warm front is where you're getting all of those heavy showers and thunderstorms through Oklahoma and through Kansas and portions of North Texas. You don't see anything back to the west, but that's because it hasn't developed yet. But eventually you're going to see a big push of cold air coming out of Colorado, and that is what's going to be our big weather maker as we get into the overnight hours as that system begins to dive south. Brand new from the Storm Prediction Center, we've actually seen an upgrade in the severe potential for the day one time period, which is what we're in right now. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the worst, I-35 through Bryan and extreme northern portions of our viewing area. So northern Grimes County, as you get beyond that up into the Huntsville area, you're actually in a level 3 now. So on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the worst, we're at a level 3 for these areas. And that's for the overnight. Once that big line of storms associated with the cold front that I just drew up in Colorado comes blasting south through the state. For us here at home today, through the Houston area, we're at a threat level 2. And that's just for any pop-up storms that develop today. We could see maybe an isolated strong wind gust. And then as that line moves through the area tonight, it's going to be weakening as it approaches the Houston area, which is why we go from a 3 to a 2, but the chance is still there for maybe 1 or 2 gusty storms. And then it's just a very isolated threat once this line reaches the coast, because I think the atmosphere just really isn't going to be enough to support the chance to see any big severe storms. So getting into the overnight hours, the best threat for severe weather will be mainly to the north. That will wane as we go south, but the one guarantee, I think, is that as we get into the morning hours, everyone has a chance at seeing some pretty heavy rainfall. So tomorrow morning certainly looking a lot more impactful than this morning. Is it going to miss us like it did this morning? No, because what we were depending on this morning was a small complex of thunderstorms, which the models had a hard time resolving where they were going to end up. What we're dealing with tomorrow is a large-scale system. It's a big cold front. We know where that's going to go. We know it's going to push through the area. It's going to bring us great weather for the weekend. But before that happens, we are going to have to deal with some heavy rain. So again, the severe threat breaks down like this for the overnight, mainly through Bryan, College Station, and points north. Level 2 out of 3 for everyone else. Then once you get to the coast, that threat level really does start to drop off. That's the latest on what's going on here today. We're going to be updating you through the day. But thank you for watching, and stay tuned online and on the air.